Beautiful evening nights in the city of Baltimore, y'all. This is XCY. I am Tian.
And I am Ayoka.
Hi, Ayoka.
Hey.
Happy Tuesday, sis. We made it. Happy Tuesday, sis. Happy Tuesday. Did you have a good day, too?
I had I had a chill day. I was in hermit mode pretty much for the whole day.
For the whole day? Oh,
Yes.
I relate.
Enjoying my house. And I did some work. I did, but just kind of like just pacing myself because everything is kind of like picking up and it's a lot going on. So
Yeah.
I had to tell myself, you know what, you ain't doing nothing but what you supposed to do right now and is give Morgan State their time. And
All
that's
that
it.
thing a day. Yeah, I went into the office today. I try to go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I went into the office just so I could have, because I just had to get some kind of normalcy happening once Nick started school. I just started going back in. I don't go every day, but I do go. So I had a pretty decent chill day. I couldn't wait to get home though because I was tired. But it was a pretty decent day. It's been a pretty decent week so far. I can't wait till Friday because I'm pretty much over
You
the
over
work
it
thing.
already.
Yeah, yo, listen. I don't see how parents with multiple kids do it
Hmm.
with this getting up and getting ready for school in the morning. Yo, Nick weighs me out. And he's not like this, like he's not bad. Like he's not, we don't be like we argue because that's Nick. Like Nick, we just argue because what else we gonna do? But it's like he be so busy in the mornings. I don't see how you have this much energy at 6:30 or 6:15. Like I be getting him dressed, and he really be like, "Hey, mommy," and I'll be like this. So like one morning, I really was like, "Yo, chill out. It's still dark outside. Like
Right.
chill. Like just stop talking for
Don't
like
worry.
5 minutes."
What give him a little bit more time. He gonna wake up and be grumpy.
Yeah. And he really was like, mommy, you know, mommy, and mommy, let me see you do this. Mommy, watch me do this. Look at me jump. Look at me run. I'm like, yo, it's 6:30. Like, this is crazy. But
And it don't stop at 21 either,
no,
because my son
yo.
is the same way. He come in the room and I'm looking at him mean mugging. And he like, hey, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
like, what are you doing, yo? Do something. And then
I
he be
just
so
woke up. Leave me alone.
yeah, it's 6:15 and it's still dark outside.
Right.
Like it's still dark. Like it's like actually if it was summertime. But
Mhm.
6:15 is still dark, yo. It's time to like chill out. Like it's not time for that. Wait till the sun come up and we at school. Then you can
Right.
But anyway, y'all. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We are back. We are back. We are
Yes, I
back.
know. This is 3 consecutive weeks so
Yes,
far.
yes. Make sure y'all follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube page at the XTY Show. Make sure y'all follow Ayoka. She's our light worker. Drop your credentials.
Oh yeah. Follow me on Instagram. I am Everybody Loves a Yoga on Instagram. My other page, Lightworkers page, is at the Lightworkers Society. And also subscribe to my YouTube, The Oracle Goddess. I do have all of those details in my bio of my IG. So you don't got to be like, what she say? What was that? Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Just go right over
It's
there.
right there for you to
Click on the
see.
link tree and it will give you all of my websites, y'all. I also wanted to just kind of like go through some, shout out some stuff that's going on, some events. They're not necessarily our events, but it's some events that we are a part of and pretty much promoting.
We a part
Um,
of events.
well,
You
so
know
it's
you be
one.
signing us up, yo, and I don't be
I know.
knowing.
So, well, actually, I've been working heavily with DH for a long, long time.
Hmm.
So it's some stuff that we do together when it comes to promotions and marketing and things like that. So
Okay.
even on the XTY show, you guys, we do have $10 ad space that's available down. Your information will run on a ticker. We'll also promote you on our XTY Instagram page and Facebook pages too. But one thing that we are a part of is the Mike Phillips. It's an evening with Mike Phillips, y'all. So it's going to be at Magoovy's Joke House. It's coming up this Sunday on December the 12th. Make
Okay.
sure you go over to the Women's Challenge on Facebook, y'all. It's called the Women's Challenge. It's a Facebook page. It's going to have everything you need to know about Mike Phillips. And Stacy Carver. So Stacy Carver will be the host. He is a local comedian. And actually Carl Riddick is going to come down too and sing. So they're from Philly. So that's pretty dope. Make sure you guys support that. And DJ Prime will actually be there. Matter of fact, he will be DJing for about, I think, the beginning of the opening set of that show too as well. So check that out, y'all. I actually wrote a essay in a book called The Color of My Resilience, written by N.D. Jones, y'all. That book actually dropped today. It is available now on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles,
Purchase that.
Walmart, Target, every outlet that you can actually look at, and it is there. Okay, so this is basically a guided journal. Okay, and you can journal inside of it. It's for Black men, it's for women. You don't even necessarily have to be African American, but it is based off of us melanated people. But it actually, basically from here, it says here, this is a journey towards deeper exploration and self-love. Okay, so you can journal in it. I do have a story of my resiliency in there too as well, so some things that I have overcome. So I ask that you guys support that. I will
Yes.
be using this book with,
Congrats,
thank
T.
you, with my
Ayoka.
students next for the summer, for the fall, spring semester. They will be using this journal too as well. So definitely support ND Jones. She's a client of mine for over the last 20 years, and she has been including me in quite a few of her books. So I am written into a couple of her books that she has, y'all.
Yes.
So and I think that's it for that information. We are going to be showing up for y'all every Tuesday at 9
Same place.
p.m.
Yes, 9
So
p.m.
if
Make
you
sure y'all tune
want to
in.
interview, because we still do interviews, if you want to get an interview and jump on our show, we are definitely open to that. Just email us at the XTY show.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And starting next week, we're gonna start doing our advice segment again. So make sure that you send your questions to xty@gmail.com. You can also send a text to 410-999-8937, which is a private, I mean, it's an anonymous number. So you don't have to attach your name or nothing like that. It's not gonna show up in our phones to say that it's you or whatever. Just, I mean, if you want to send
Mhm.
in an anonymous post or whatever, I mean, not an anonymous post, anonymous question, like like a dear Abby. For those that may just be watching our show for the first time, like a
Right.
dear Abby, like how dear Abby, I got a problem, blah, 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 blah. You can send it in. So
Yep. Yep. Yep.
it's just gonna be dear XCY. We will read it over the show. Of course, me and Ayoka are gonna walk through it. I mean, we're gonna work through it for you
Mm,
and give you the answer. So again, you can send it to xty@gmail.com, or you can text it to 410-999-8937.
yes. Oh, one more plug, y'all,
Yep.
and then we on finish. Okay, so again, Twitch. Check out Twitch at jprime83 for the Prime Rib Mix Show every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
And Sabo,
Um,
he's not our DJ again, so
he's
he's
trying. Look,
trying to be our DJ again.
we're
We're
going to
not
be
doing it.
working in something where you guys will be able to hear at least 15-30 minutes of some music before actually where I
I
actually
ain't agree
jumps
to that.
on.
I ain't
So maybe 15 minutes or so. We got to see how we can work it out. So you know how Facebook does, they be trying to
agree.
like block people and stuff when using
Yeah.
music. So yeah, but definitely
We're gonna
support
figure something out.
local. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
about
All
it for
right.
me.
All right, all right, all right. So let's get into this show for the day. So we decided, we be on this little relationship, you know, this relationship kick a lot of the times. But today we think we would talk about not something a little. It is serious, but it's something that is kind of personal to me and T, because we're going to talk about bullying. And if you've ever spoken to me and T in the past or watched any of our shows, you know that this is something that we both have been through. Like we both dealt with it. I dealt with it from probably like kindergarten up until like middle school, I think, like late middle school, early high school. I was teased for like a multitude of things, but um to the point where I eventually had to start defending myself because I didn't have no other option. Like it was either that or you just get beat up every day. And it was basically enough was enough. T's story is a little different. It's about the same as mine, but a little different. But basically we decided that we were going to talk about bullying today. The reason being is because as we all know, last week, a 15-year-old boy by the name of Ethan Crumbly, he's a 10th grader in high school. He decided that the bullying that he had endured was that he had enough, and he went into his school and started shooting. He shot. 6 students, and a teacher. And the crazy part is that it's something. It's an issue that probably could have been avoided, but um, it wasn't. So yeah.
It's like, who's to blame
And
at this
those
point?
and the numbers
Mm-hmm.
that I gave are wrong. I'm sorry.
Is it 4 students?
So he murdered. Four students were murdered. 4 students were murdered, and 7 others were injured, were wounded. And the
Okay.
7 that were injured was 6 students and a teacher. So at the end of the day, it still is something that it could have been avoided, or could have they probably could have caught it a little early. There's a lot that could have been done,
Right.
but his defense, I don't know what his defense is, but his reasoning was because he had been bullied, which I think to me is such a weak move. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like it's such a weak move. Like I'm just a firm believer in, you either need to know how to defend yourself with words. If you got to throw hands, you got to throw hands. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But never to the point where you got to take somebody's life,
Right.
because because you are being teased, or because you being bullied. Like it's
Right.
just not. It's not worth your freedom. It's not
Right.
worth you spending the rest of your life in jail over this. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
And it
It's
makes you
not
kind
worth
of wonder, like, the
your life over.
differences. Yeah, when you look at the differences within culture, upbringing, based off of African Americans and, I guess, our non-melanated, you know what I'm saying, brothers and sisters, how we were bullied like all our lives pretty much, but maybe our resiliency is so much different because we bullied at home, you know what I'm saying, we bullied at
Yeah,
school, and we learned to endure a whole lot, even though it has messed with us psychologically as we gotten older. But what's the difference, you understand? For
I don't
And I don't
know.
want to pull a race card or anything like that, but it is a really significant, question and thought, like.
But the thing is, like, I don't even like, as far as race is concerned, I don't even think it. I just think that it just so happened that
Mm-hmm.
the students that decided that they were going to do this in the past have been white students, and
Okay.
I'm saying that because you got black students that will run up in somebody's house and will
Right.
drag the whole house out, or you know what I mean, and will
It'd be
get
more like
to
one-on-one. It's never really
yeah,
like.
like, but they may not do a mass shooting,
Right.
but you got kids that have lost their life in
Right.
school because they done got jumped,
Right.
because they done been bullied to the point
Mm-hmm.
where they've gotten jumped by 6, 7, or 8 other kids,
Right.
by like an extra group of kids,
Mm-hmm.
or
Or they
they
get jumped. Right. It'd be
right,
jumped, but it's
yeah,
not gonna be
or
like, I'm
they
gonna kill
taking
you.
their
Yeah.
lives,
Yeah, because
or
I'm
they
no, and what
taking
I'm really
their
saying
lives.
is like, because of when you think of I'm wondering if it's like our resiliency to certain
I
things,
don't
to
know.
abuse or something like that. Because I mean, when you really think about the psychology of it, that's the part where I'm getting into it as, because like you said, as growing up, we were bullied bad. I mean, you understand, like,
Yeah.
to extent we have shut down emotionally, we have shut down completely, even into our adult lives because of some of the
Mhm.
things that have happened to us. But the way that we process it, it's almost, it seems like it's like you said, I know other kids may have displayed it in so many different ways, but when it comes down to it, who's really to blame? I mean, you understand, like,
The
our parents was
parents.
kicking,
I'm
yeah,
blaming
our
some of these
parents was
parents.
kicking our asses, you understand, at the same time, like, we did something, we got out of line, we were disciplined for it.
Yeah.
So it almost felt like, shit, I'm going to school and get bullied, I'm gonna come home, you understand, if I did something wrong, my parents gonna get in my ass, you
Yeah.
understand? So it's like you had to walk a certain, either you're gonna be, so say like me, because I was bullied, I ended up having the worst attitude, but it was a defense mechanism to keep
Mhm.
people away from me. So my attitude sucked. All right. So it was like, I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna do whatever, like, to keep you away from me. And that's just how it was. But it was never to the point where I felt like I wanted to, you understand, really put my hands on anybody. It was just like I needed to
Yeah.
protect myself at this time because I felt like I had nobody else to protect me in that way.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just
no,
something
you're
that
right.
kids do. I mean, shit, adults bully you. You know what I'm saying? I went through my college years with a swim teacher that used to bully me only just because of my last name. Like he would just tease me. I don't know if it was necessarily bullying, but it still kind of affected me. So he would make all types of jokes all the time about my last name. So you understand that did kind of like a lot of times why I don't it's
I'm
crazy.
only laughing because when you said it, I'm sorry, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just laughing because I could imagine some of the stuff that he used to say that. Like, I'm not gonna put
Smack
this
them up, flip it,
right.
rub
That's
it
why
down. Oh no. And it's
don't
like I would
worry,
be coming
smack him.
in and
I'm
he
about
would
to
say
smack him. That's why I started
yeah.
laughing.
So a
Like,
lot of times it's like
yeah,
I stop using my my last name, my birthright name because of not
yeah.
feeling like being bothered by someone
Mm,
teasing me or making jokes about it. You understand?
yeah,
So, all of that plays a factor. But again, when you look at it and what they're talking about within the with all of this now is who's held responsible. So they're trying to figure out, are the schools held responsible because did they take the proper protocol
right.
when they seen this? Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing about that. So first of all, let's just discuss the fact really really quick that he went up to the school using a weapon that his parents purchased that his father got him 4 days before the
For a
shooting.
Christmas present.
Right, right. It was a 9 millimeter semi-automatic pistol. I'm not a gun person, so I'm not even going to sit here and try to pronounce the other words. The Sig Sauer SP 2022 semi-automatic pistol. That's what his father bought him 4 days before the shooting. When they were able to get up in the school at they apprehended him and everything, they found that he had knocked off 3 15 round magazines. They were found in like at the scene, and the gun still had 7 rounds of ammunition left in it.
Wow.
um Prior to the actual shooting happening, um the parents were notified by two teachers. They have reported um concerning behavior to his parents. They had found some
Wow.
drawings that he had done. I believe one drawing had like pictures of blood, another one had pictures of bullets. He had like little weird ass writing, like weird ass words that were written on the pictures. And basically the tone and the feeling that the teachers got was that this is a problem. Like, this is a problem. We need to call his parents because this is the problem.
Right.
Called the parents, notified the parents, and the basic end result was that the parents were like, no, you can leave him in school.
Yeah, they refused to take him
Right.
home.
They didn't take him home. Not to mention the fact that just they just did it. Like, they felt that something wasn't right about him. And just by the fact that you saw drawings that he had done,
Yeah.
like that's a problem.
Right.
And his parents saw it and they kept him in school. Now, as I've told you, I cannot imagine anybody calling me and telling me that
I'm
my
sorry, y'all.
child that my child is doing
Mm-hmm.
that my child has done any of that. Because
Right.
my initial response as a concerned parent, one, is what the hell is going on that you doing
Exactly.
that? Number two, you got two options. You're gonna go to jail or you're gonna go to the hospital. Now, I'm gonna give you the choice of which hospital you want to go to. You can go to Shepherd Pratt, you could go to Sinai
Right.
and get them to put you in and get them to put you on the psych unit. You can go to Hopkins, get them to put you on the psych unit. You can go to whatever hospital is going to take our insurance. Jails is something different. They just
Right.
going to put you wherever they have room. But you're going to go somewhere by you not sleeping at home
Yeah. You're gonna make sure that they get the
tonight.
proper care.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to be locked up somewhere
Right.
this evening. I guarantee. So either you're gonna go to jail or you're gonna go to the hospital, and we're gonna figure out like what the issue is. Because at the end of the day, none of this is worth your freedom. It's not worth your life. It's not worth anybody else's life, and I don't want to lose my
Right.
child.
Right.
But instead of doing this, these dummies sent him back in to the school. The shooting happened. He took lives. He wounded people. The state's attorney is now charging them with
Yeah.
involuntary manslaughter,
It's
which
like
they
5
should.
counts, I believe.
And what I just found out
Hmm.
today is just to show how ain't shit his parents is. They so ain't
That's
shit.
what I was getting ready to say, because he has already displayed this type of behavior
But
at
here's the
home.
thing: they so ain't shit. This is the biggest part about them being ain't shit. You allowed him to do this, so you should shoulder a lot of this responsibility.
Right.
This is a lot of you. They have private attorneys, meaning they forked up money. They have a private attorney that's representing the both of them.
Oh, wow.
Their son has a public defender.
What?
And the justification that like the news media is giving is the fact that for a murder charge is very expensive. Like most retainer fees for a good attorney, just to retain them, is going to start off at about
So
30,000.
they like he a lost cause.
Right.
For
So
real.
that's what they're basically saying. So they're like the attorney. So the attorney that the parents have is an attorney that has represented numerous people in like their trials. They named a couple of people which I wasn't familiar with, so I didn't really follow up. I didn't really follow through with it.
Right.
But the attorney represented a couple of high profile cases. I believe one was like a rape case. Another one was a molestation charge, like
Okay.
somebody that had a somebody that had a molestation charge, and one that had like a rape or something. But the attorney is a well known attorney. Like their name is out there. Like this person has been in
Right.
the public versus their son, who has the biggest charge, who should just go ahead and just plead guilty
Right.
and just call it a day because you did it. It was no justification for it.
Right.
Like you did it.
He's a psychopath anyway.
Right.
So
He's a
right.
sociopath. Like he's crazy. He don't
Yeah.
need to be out. But instead of you getting a private attorney for your son, and y'all are taking up a public defender, because a big part of this is
Yep.
you're going to give him the public defender, and then you're going to get the private attorney.
Yep.
Like that's crazy. I'm like, this is just it's just crazy. But it all goes back to the whole bullying thing. Like, to me, it's like, what puts people in a position that makes them want to do this? Like,
Yeah.
makes you just want to say, fuck it, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna start shooting, or I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna start shooting. I'm probably
Hmm.
gonna go to jail, but it is what it is. Or I'm gonna go in and start shooting and take my
So
life. Other people with me. Like, what
right.
gets you to that
So
point?
what I was seeing, like, because I was like doing some, research trying to pull certain articles. I probably can't pull it just right now because it's like, bam, it just clicked to me.
Mhm.
But what I was seeing is that usually when they are provoked to that point, it's like they already have a pre-existing mental illness. So a
Mhm.
lot of this stuff is going unaddressed. So it's either between depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. Like they have all of these things. So it's like all of the signs are there. And that's why I was like, when it comes down to us paying attention to some of the things that go on within our kids, we tend to do
Mhm.
what? It's like we think if a kid is depressed is nothing. You understand? Like what you got to be depressed
Right.
for?
Right.
You
You don't have nothing to
understand?
worry
You don't
about.
got
You
nothing to
are,
worry
and you
about.
like, no. Like, do you
You
know
got to
what they
pay
gotta do?
attention to the signs, and
Do
they
they do it?
probably, but the parents don't look like they too rap tight themselves.
They ain't break too
So
tight
yeah,
either. These
they probably
motherfuckers
do
was,
some stuff too, be out in the backyard killing animals. You understand? Like
they
yeah,
probably
they
are.
look like they
I was like,
sociopaths
they
too.
probably are, because if you think about it, like the fact that they did this, and then after the son did it, you telling him to be careful, be careful.
Yep,
Listen, bruh,
his
listen.
father probably got a rap sheet too. You understand?
Whole
They all
situation is it's just real sketchy, and just kind of going back to the whole thing on bullying, like you know, going back to what you were saying, how parents need to sort of try to catch it, because this stuff is a
it's
sign of
not even
another mental
it's
issue,
yeah, it's like acknowledging the fact
or just
that
acknowledging
my
it.
child is going through something, and it usually
There's
you
an issue.
right, and you don't really know how to help them, because I know even with my own son, watching him from the age of 16 to about now, I can see signs of depression.
Hmm.
But it's just one of those things where you be like, they're depressed. You can see it just by the habits of not keeping a clean room, um, hygiene, things like that, right? And it's like not being sociable, isolating, but at the same time, you still don't really recognize the severity
of it,
right. And we do.
of it.
You as parents, you know when things aren't right with your children. It's
And
just, mm-hmm,
no, you're right. No, I was
mm-hmm,
just agreeing with you. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, they don't, a lot of times, like, just kind of piggybacking on what you said earlier, like, they'll see like their child and say, well, I'm depressed. Well, what are you depressed about? You don't
yeah,
have no bills. I'm paying all the bills. You don't have nothing to
yeah.
worry about except for school. And you like, but you don't understand what I'm sitting here going
What
through
I'm trying to tell
when I
you,
when
and
I when, I,
it's
when I'm
totally
in
different.
school.
Yeah.
Like, I remember getting in my father's, like I tell people this. I remember getting in my father's car one day, and my father was like, "Listen," and if you ever met my father, if you ever met Stink,
Mm-hmm.
my father was crazy. Like, if you've ever seen me on like level 50 when I get upset, my
Right.
father was like level like 100.
Oh wow.
And my father stuttered the way that I do. Like, my father, no, I'm sorry, my father's stutter was like 100 times worse than mine. Like, it was intensified, like by like 50. And his was just horrible. But I remember my father was like, "Listen, get in this car again crying. Like, you're not gonna keep getting here crying because somebody's teasing you or because somebody's bothering
Right.
you. Like, you're not gonna keep doing that." I was like, "But I can't listen. I don't want to hear
Right.
that." And his famous line was, "You are a wise, and we don't let people bother us." And da da da. And that's when I actually thought that my father was like some big shit. Like, he was in this gang, and I'm like, reality, my father was never in the gang. He never was this big shit. But the fact that he put that thought in my head,
Right.
he was like, you are a wise, you out here running L name in the ground because you keep getting in the car crying because somebody teasing you,
Yeah.
like, you
And that's
stutter.
how we were
So what?
raised and we were taught. It
Yeah,
was like, what you
turn
crying
the other
for?
cheek.
You let somebody
Yeah,
hit you? Oh no, we gotta go back
my,
out here and handle this.
yeah. My
You
father was
had
like,
no room to be
you
soft
couldn't.
about
Like,
being bullied.
I'm telling you, I really like my mother was one of those. I'm gonna go up to school and I'm gonna talk to the teacher and I'm gonna talk to them and have a parent conference. My father was like, yo, we not doing this.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I remember my father saying, "Why does she keep doing this? That's not getting us nowhere. It's not helping."
It's
And
not
I'm,
helping.
yeah, and I'm tired of you getting in this car crying. Like, you need to defend yourself. And if you're not going to defend yourself, then let it go and move on and stop crying. But something got to give.
Right.
But looking at the statistics of how bullying, like when bullying happens, like in school, because I did look some up. It said that nationwide, 19% of students in grade 9 through 12
Mm-hmm.
reported being bullied on school property in a 12-month period.
Wow.
It said that between the I'm sorry, students between the ages of 12 and 18 have experienced bullying in the school stairwell. That actually had the highest percentage. That was 43.4. Then in the classroom, it was 42.1. The cafeteria was 26.8. Outside on the school grounds, 21.9%. Online or text was 15.3%. The bathroom or locker room was 12.1%, and somewhere else in the school building was 2.1%. It also said that approximately 46% of students ages 12 to 18 who were bullied during the school year notified an adult at school about the bullying.
And say, yep.
And
Nothing
they said
happened.
something, right? Now, and nothing happened. Most likely it was like a parent
Mm-hmm.
conference. We're gonna notify somebody. But just the fact that this is just such
Yeah.
a high amount of kids, it's not like it's 5%. Like, the
Yeah.
highest was 43.4%. And this is basically within the school.
Right. But I really feel like it's going unaddressed because again, like bullying is not new. Everybody has been
Mm.
bullied. You understand to
Yeah,
some
but it
degree.
also
So
gives you a breakdown of the type of bullying that they are experiencing.
yeah.
So it says that students ages 12 through 18 experience various types of bullying, including being the subject of rumors or lies,
Mm-hmm.
being made fun of, called names, insulted, pushed, shoved, tripped or spit on, leaving out exclusion, threatened with harm. Others tried to make them do things that they did not want to do, and their property was destroyed on purpose. The highest form of bullying that they reported was being the subject of lies or rumors, and then right under that was being made fun of, called names, or insulted. Now, I never get the. Well, I had one lie or rumor. I had one.
Mm-hmm.
But I fought against that lie rumor because this dude kind of lied on me,
Right.
and it resulted in some. My teacher called my house and told my mother what the lie was, and she was like, "You in school doing that? No, I'm not. Like, he's lying."
Right.
But but those were the two highest ones, like the rumors of lies being made fun of, called names, or insulted.
Right.
Those were the two top ones, and I'm just like, I guess I'm just so, maybe it's because of my age, because I'm like, what are y'all in there lying about? Like, what are y'all in there doing except for that
The same
should
thing we was doing.
see, I wasn't lying. I wasn't doing nothing. I mean, I was
And it's
doing
like,
some
being
stuff.
that I was one that was like, a lot of people wouldn't believe that I was bullied, but I mean, I was growing up. I got teased for my glasses. I got teased because I looked a certain way. It's like, oh yeah, you was an ugly duckling, or you understand, things like that hadn't to grow
Yeah.
into myself. But I guess, like you said, it's the degree of bullying, I think, that kind of like maybe plays a role. But no matter how big or small, it's still, you understand, bullying, it still hurts. And usually what they say about people who do the bullying, the reason why they do it, have you ever heard?
Because they have some stuff
It
going on.
helps
They have
them
some
to
stuff.
feel powerful
Yeah,
because
because
they
they have
actually
some
feel
stuff going on.
powerless.
They
Right.
have. I mean, it's just like with adults
Mm-hmm.
that just like when you run into adults that be on that BS, like
I've been
they.
bullied by somebody for a whole year as you're saying, over 30.
You was bullied and didn't tell me.
You already know about how I was being bullied. So yeah.
You see
When it
me
come
looking
down,
like,
when it come
listen,
down
oh,
to when it come
listen,
down
see,
to stalking, when it
but see,
comes down
while I was talking about, why I was sitting here like, you was bullying and
subliminal
you ain't tell me,
messages,
because we
throwing
could have compared
shade,
that, because we
that's
could
a
compare
form of
that.
bullying.
But that is just
Mm-hmm.
like, like that. Just being. You can be bullied in friendships. People don't realize it. Like, you
Yeah.
can have a friend that's just so nasty about just the way that they do things. It's just it's so many forms of it,
Right. In so
and
many forms. And I can
it's
see how it goes. It's like you feel like you don't have an outlet. You can't
yeah.
talk to people about it because people think you crazy, or think, oh, it ain't nothing. They just tripping, da 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 da. But no, it can really get intense, and it
It's
can
really
cause
like
you to
that.
make you want
It
to
is.
beat
You
a
are
motherfucker
crazy,
ass. Cause trust
and
me, it's plenty of times you be like, I'm about to body this bitch. And
because we
yeah.
done been out. Okay, now I know who we talking about.
Uh-huh.
We done been out a couple of times, and I've been like, "What you want to do?" Like, we look, like we drunk, and we don't give a fuck. In the morning, we're gonna be like, we probably shouldn't have did that, but for
Exactly.
right now, it
Right.
is what it is, because
It is.
it's
It
just
is.
because it's so senseless. Like, it doesn't. It's no rhyme or reason to it.
Right.
Like, so. Also, just to double back on the bullying thing. So, what I did read is that it says that research indicates that persistent bullying can lead to or worsen feelings of isolation, rejection, exclusion, despair, as well as depression and anxiety, which can contribute to suicide behavior.
Yep. There go all of the mental health issues that come to tend that comes in it. The depression, the
Right.
anxiety. Anxiety is like number one for a
A
lot
lot
of
of
people.
people. And
Mm-hmm.
I and I can even say, if you know me, when I'm with my friends, like when I'm around y'all, if I stutter, I stutter. If I don't, I don't. Most of the
Right.
times I do stutter. It is what it is. Y'all don't say nothing. I think the only one that really kind of tease me about it, she don't really tease me. But I mean, even if she does, it's love because it's Jen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's Phoenix. And I've known her for like since I
Right.
was
She
14.
tease everybody.
Right. She'll say it like, are you gonna call me
That's the
today?
comedian in her.
Right. That's Jenny, but I don't take it personal because it's
Right.
Jenny. And I know that if somebody else tries, and does it, Jenny is going to fucking flip a table over on
Right.
her. You know what I'm saying? And be like, "Who the fuck is she talking to?" But just the anxiety portion of it, I know with me, I get extremely anxious when I have conversations with people that don't know me.
Right.
Because my immediate reaction is these people don't really know me. This person doesn't know me. If I stutter, are they gonna think that I'm slow?
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna think that I can't talk, that I'm not, like, I automatically think that instead of just thinking, if they
Right.
got common sense, they can figure out that I
And
have
does that
an
stem
impediment.
from that feeling like that is
That
because
stems
you were
from being
bullied?
teased.
Yeah.
That stems from being
Mm-hmm.
teased at a younger age because of my stutter.
Right.
That comes from that. So, and just over the years, and I never could understand how teasing impacts a person,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you know that you're being teased about something that may not be true, something
Yeah.
that's beyond your control or whatever. The things that we as adults tell our kids, like, that little girl dumb, like,
Yeah.
that little boy dumb. They
Yeah.
only saying that because of this and that. Like that's not true. That you're not dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you are not dumb. You're
Why you
very,
internalizing that?
yeah.
Yeah.
You are not ugly. Like, you don't stink. You're
But
not
that's
dirty.
why it's so good to like really empower your children to really like speak into them. Like, you do this
And
practice
believe
with
that.
Nick where he has to say every day, like,
And
I'm
I
this,
have
I'm
him.
that.
Nick
Mm-hmm.
says every day, I'm smart. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
did take some of it from the help, but it's fine. I added my own little stuff in. And Nick says, I'm smart, I'm handsome, I'm kind, I'm
Mm-hmm.
important, I'm powerful, I'm a leader. I
Yep.
will never be a follower because I have black boy joy.
Yep.
And at the end, he says, Wakanda forever. And I
Mm-hmm.
have him say that because, of course, he likes Black Panther, but I say that because Black Panther was a black superhero king,
Right.
he was a black king. So I have him say that just so that he can feel like one of these days I could possibly grow up and rule like
Mm-hmm.
a kingdom. Like,
Yep.
I am a king.
Yeah.
That's what I have him say
And he's
on a
already
regular
you already
basis.
building up his self-esteem.
Right.
So if
Because I know.
somebody comes to bully him, that's not true.
Because
You
I
know what I'm saying?
know.
Yeah.
Right. And because I know that it's possible. Because I never had
We
anybody
never
really do
had
that
that
with
done for
me.
us.
No,
No.
my mother and father never told me that I was dumb, that I was
Yeah.
ugly, nothing like that. But I never had anybody stand in front of me and be like, you are this, you are that.
You
Da,
are
da, 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 da,
amazing. You
da.
can do wonderful
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was told that, I think, when I needed it, not on a daily basis, like when I
Yeah, it
doubted
wasn't
myself.
reiterated. And then a
Right.
lot of times they couldn't give it to us because they weren't feeling like it
Mhm.
themselves. So and I know that. So like even when I come to my son, I've made a lot of mistakes raising my son and I do, hold myself accountable for certain things, but it was a lot that I couldn't deposit back into him because I was so low. So I definitely get it. Like when he would go through certain things, I would be like, yeah, I know he fucked up, like, cause I'm fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
barely know how to
Yeah.
handle my own anxiety and depression right now. So it's like,
Mhm.
how can I help pull him up out of that as well? So that's why I was like, even when you look at the parents, it's like that child is a product. That boy is a product of his
It's a
mother and
product.
father. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, at what point do you as a parent step in and be like, you know what, let me go ahead and take care of this.
Yeah.
Like let me use common sense
Yeah.
to
That
figure
that
out
boy's parents
what the
should be
issue
held
is.
responsible as well as that boy for him going up in there shooting up that
And then
school.
shooting up the school,
Mm-hmm.
like, cause I think about, when I got to that point that I was like, I had enough.
Yep.
I started wilding. Like, I was fighting students. I
You
was fighting people in
self-destruct.
my, yeah. I was fighting the people in my class. I was fighting. I hit my teacher, and I just ain't care at that point. It was what it was. Like at this point, anybody can get it.
Right.
I don't even care because I just, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of going and I'm tired of dealing with this. At this point, I'm just tired. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I remember my mother, like, one Saturday morning, she was like, get up and get dressed. I was like, I think I was in the seventh grade. It was the summer that I was going to the eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, get up and get dressed. I was like, where we going? It was like It was a Saturday. She was like, just get up and get dressed. And it was like in the summer, girl. I had put this little jumper on. I was ready, thinking we about to go
Mm-hmm.
shopping or something. And we went, to the rotunda. And we went into this office. She was like, "We get ready to start seeing a therapist because I don't know what's happening, but you just are out of control.
Right.
I don't know what to do anymore." And my mother was a single parent. She was like, "I don't know what to do. Like you are out of control. Like you just going crazy. Like it was
Yep.
to the point like I was literally fighting everybody. I didn't
Yeah.
care. I was fighting my cousin. I had fought my sister. I did not care.
Yeah.
I was fighting everybody. Like if you looked at me wrong, I was ready to fight you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I remember that was my first ever therapy session. And mind you, I have a therapist now that I love. If you ever listen, just I'm gonna drop a quick plug. Safarn Bryant of Urban Trauma Counseling is one of the best therapists that I've ever had. I had a therapist for a very long time, and then she stopped practicing, and I had a little break. Safarn therapist is the best. So if you Tafon Tafon
Yes,
Bryant of Urban
definitely.
Trauma, counseling.
Get your
It's
children
some
some
real good
help.
shit. It's some real good
Yeah.
shit. But my mother really, that was my first therapy session. And she was like, you need to see somebody. I mean, it took me until I became an adult to really dive into all of my shit, to
Your
figure out
trauma.
where my stuff was
Mm-hmm.
coming from, and to realize that a lot of my issues were from a result of childhood trauma
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know. But the point is like everybody needs therapy. Like my
Mm-hmm.
mother recognized when I was like 13 that this is a problem. Like
Yeah.
something is wrong. I'm not going to just keep letting you be out here in the world just doing what you want
It's
to do.
my
And
responsibility
I'm not
here.
trying to get you help.
Yeah,
Right
to parent
now,
you.
yeah, now
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to take the help, you don't want to embrace it, and I'm trying, that's something different. But I'm doing my part. This boy's parents didn't do their part. They basically just let him do what he wanted to do.
Yep.
Like and I hear so many people say, "Oh, he was white and you should have thought." Guess what? Here's the thing. It's a lot of black parents out here that let their kids do whatever they want to do and don't
Mm-hmm.
hold them accountable. There are a lot of black kids that are sitting in the juvenile, the detention centers and in facilities for doing. They may not have walked up into a school
Yeah,
and
it's like the only
started
difference is
shooting.
that we self-destruct against ourselves and we
Bingo.
target the exact person that's messing
Exactly.
with us. We
True.
ain't gonna go after
True.
everybody else. Yeah.
True. True. But you
Mm-hmm.
still sitting up in the jail. You still sitting up in the
And we
juvenile
suffer from a lot
facility.
of mental illness, and we have a lot
Yeah.
of post-traumatic stress syndrome just going within the families. And that's why I was, when you were talking, and it was a good point, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, we don't understand what our children actually do go through the experiences of just being in at home. So just imagine if that boy's mother and father fought terribly or did drugs in front of him. You understand? So like
Mm-hmm.
all of this stuff that he is taking on from home, he's now also, and then go to school, he's being bullied. And we don't realize how much trauma that our children are taking on just by alone coming from the mother or coming from the father. So we don't know what is actually going on within that household too as well. So he displayed some actions there. Yeah, he was screaming out for help. He did already was, putting
And
out the
they didn't,
signs,
and
and they
they
were
didn't
ignoring
listen,
him.
and they were ignored when like,
Mm-hmm.
as I said, when that school called his parents and said, "Y'all need to come up here and get him," or "Y'all need to come up here and look at this." My thing with the school is, despite what his parents said, they
Right.
should have sent him home. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. Let me listen,
Yeah.
because if I was his teacher, y'all gonna leave him here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and get my stuff, and go home
And
because I
that's what
don't
they're
feel
trying to figure
comfortable
out, if they followed the proper protocol
because they're
of letting him
investigating it
come
now.
as
Yeah.
as the school. They were probably not supposed to. They probably were
It wouldn't.
supposed to keep him with the
Baltimore.
social worker.
I'm still thinking about
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore City. Baltimore City schools, and I mean, unless they've changed, Baltimore City ain't even let you stay
Yep.
if you was getting ready to fight. They ready to suspend you and send you home. So how you just let him
Yep.
stay in that school? Like, because I keep thinking about the fact that one day my child is going to be in high school, or one day my child is
Right.
going to be in middle school, or the fact that my 4-year-old is in school now.
And
You know
somebody
what I'm
could run
saying?
up in that school. Mm-hmm.
With bigger kids, his school goes up to the 8th grade.
Right.
He's elementary, middle. And as much as I want to say that, you know how they be like, oh, that only happens in this school with the white kids. That can happen in any
Mm-hmm.
school at the end of the day, as I said, because as much as we want to say that's what the white
Mm-hmm.
kids do, it's not. Like, you still have
It just
kids.
comes out in different
It comes up in
ways.
different in different
Mm-hmm.
ways. Like, you still have black
But
students.
then when you look at it again, it is a major difference. Not as far as that, but it's
Nah,
the difference comes in is culturally with the upbringing. Like we said, it's like how your dad was like, no, we're not about to do this. Da, da, da. That was his way of trying to make you feel safe. Within that boy's family, it don't look like he had an outlet of feeling safe. They brought him a
true.
gun. You understand?
True,
Like,
but you still have black
yeah.
students,
Mm-hmm.
young black boys and girls that are sitting in these detention centers and in these jails
Yeah.
that are doing that have been tried as adults for murder,
Because they out
robbery,
there
and
in them
everything
streets
else
selling
because they're out
drugs
there
and
in their streets. So
yep.
no, there may not have been any situations where there were mass shootings with where a black child was the what you call it was the actual shooter,
Mm-hmm.
but you have situations where these black kids are in jail for other crimes
Right.
that could read that are made that are murder, just like the little boy
Yeah.
that's serving that was tried as adult and is serving life now for being a part of that home, that robbery that ended up taking the life of that female cop because he got scared and was trying to pull off.
Right.
They up here doing like at the end of the day, the whole race card, it annoys me because at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, they are still kids
Mm-hmm.
that have issues that are committing these crimes, whether they doing a mass shooting or they doing a single shooting. The point is they are taking lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When it's not even necessary, and they're basically jeopardizing their whole entire future
And I
to
know as
rot in
I'm reading,
jail.
it's like, it's like when should you take the threat serious and like don't
The first time you hear about it,
yeah, exactly. And that's what they're saying. It's like when a child threatens to hurt or kill somebody else or even themselves, don't sweep
bye.
that under the rug.
They need to get
Exactly.
out. That's what I said. If
When a
they
child
ever,
threatens to run away from home, that's a problem. If they threaten
it's
to
a
damage or
problem.
destroy property, that's a problem. If they have an aggressive outbursts, that's a problem. You understand? Like, wait, something is wrong because why is my child angry? Like you said, your mother was like, my daughter is angry.
My mother.
So
I
let me
promise
go.
you, yes. We sitting up the matter of fact, the therapist's name was Dr. Whiteside. That's how I remember that was my first ever therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it was the summer that I was going to the eighth grade. So what was I like? I think yeah, I was turning 13. I had just turned 13 in like that May, and she really was like, get up and get dressed, baby. We're gonna go to breakfast, and then I'm gonna take you somewhere. Not really like we had went to breakfast. I'm sitting in this little man office, like, what the hell is this? This is
Mm.
not the mall. This is not the plaza. And this is not, you know what I mean? And we sat in this man's office and he was like, hi, I'm Dr. Whiteside. So, let's get to know each other. I'm like, get to know each other for what? Like, what are we doing? Before I knew that this was a therapy session.
Right.
Like, this was to get into to figure out. And like I said, it took me years because he was no longer my therapist. I didn't like him because he was a man. But it was like it took me years to get to a therapist that I felt comfortable with and I
Right.
trusted before I could really be like, so I could really open up. But all of my stuff was childhood
Mm-hmm.
trauma
Yeah.
from not
Everybody's
even,
stuff is
yeah,
childhood trauma.
not even
Mm-hmm.
from 13, from like childhood trauma, from like starting at like five
Yeah.
and six and working its
Experiencing
way
all types
up.
of stuff within the household,
Yeah. And
sexual trauma,
everything.
mental, emotional abuse.
Abuse and everything
Mm-hmm.
else.
Yep.
You
All of
know?
that. And
And
it's mm-hmm.
no, no, what was you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say like it's some of the things which I think is important that I wanted to list just a few things that we should pay attention to, especially when it comes to mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, this is what it all still factors down to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mental illness. Like that boy going into that school, you got to be mentally something going on
Something
for you
going
to
on,
say,
bro.
I'm going to go take somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have enough
I'm gonna
self-love.
take multiple people.
People's
I'm just
lives.
gonna go kill innocent people. Like, come
And even
on,
like we
bruh.
said, even like if you think about our little black boys and girls, they still suffering some type of mental illness,
Yeah.
or while they're out there on these corners selling drugs and killing people and murdering people through these ways, it's
If
still
they,
some type of onset, trauma there that
yeah.
we're not looking at. And we figure, okay, we're suffering from depression, everybody's suffering from depression, right? But is this
Yeah,
normal?
we all
You
got issues.
understand
Like,
where
come on now.
exactly we got to start finding outlets. But it says some of the symptoms that we should pay attention to, and you be thinking about is, oh, that's a little small, like small things like changes in the sleep patterns. If your child is sleeping longer than usual, I even hear you with Nick, like, girl, he been asleep like 6 hours,
Girl,
something ain't right.
I be like, I don't know what's going on, but you need to go ahead and wake up
Yeah,
because we not doing this. Did you have a bad day? Like, I remember when he came home,
yeah.
when he started school, I was like, why is he sleeping so much? And my mother was like, probably because he getting up at 6 o'clock. Listen, this is the same little boy that was waking up at 6:30 when we wasn't going nowhere
Right.
because of quarantine.
Yep.
Like it's something going on in school because he's not eating his lunch. He's not eating his lunch. He's
Yeah.
coming home with a full lunch bag, and she was like, it's probably
And that's what
because
it is.
they
Changes in
eat
appetite,
right.
changes in
But
motivation.
of course, with Nick,
He was
because
sick.
me, I went right up to that school and I asked
Mm-hmm.
his teacher. I was like, what is going on in here? Because he's tired in the morning. He's really tired, and he's not eating lunch. And she was like, well, he's probably tired because he didn't take a nap in school, and he's not eating his lunch because he eats at like 10. They eat at 10:30. She was like, and he told me yesterday morning that he had pancakes and sausage for his breakfast, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Then he's not hungry, but I still ask like that.
Yep.
Like that's the biggest thing.
Yep. I mean, just really pay attention. Even sometimes, like my son, he'll say things like, I really messed that up. I'm so stupid.
Gotta check that.
Gotta check that, right? Like all of that stuff is leading. We just gotta really be very cognizant of each other, and start really paying attention,
And
even
as adults,
as
we
adults,
gotta do
period.
that. Cause I
And
know
mm-hmm,
I was gonna say like me as an adult, it's times that I'll do something and I'll be like, I am so dumb.
mm-hmm.
I am just real dumb today. Like I am so dumb. And I had to check myself. Or like if I say it out loud around like somebody else, they'll be like, you're not dumb to me because
You
I
just
don't
got a
say
bunch of
that.
stuff going on.
And I'll say, no. Pause. I know I'm not dumb. Like I'm saying it, you know, because I'm just saying it, but it doesn't, I don't think it. I'm just saying it in the sense of like, why did I do that? Like,
Right.
why did I forget that? But
Right.
I had to check myself to make sure that I understand.
Right.
You just said that because you was just saying like you're really not dumb.
Yeah.
Like you have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. To go back and say something behind it. It's like, no, like you said, no, that's not the case. You just got a lot going on. Like try to look at it and
Yeah.
change your perspective about it. Let's hold each other accountable. Overall, even if you know that they're not getting that type of care within the household, it look, it takes
Yeah.
a village, even in school. You understand? It's like, okay, they had all the warning signs there in school, even with the teachers, you still neglected it. I understand that you got a classroom probably full of 30 something students and you can't kind of tend to every last one of these students, give them that type of attention. But when you got something that stands out that much, it's like, oh no, we gotta put this on hold and we need to deal with this. I don't feel comfortable with this child coming back to my classroom. You understand?
Yeah.
Like,
Like I just don't get it. Like it's
no,
like
let me
I
tell you,
said.
even with my students, honey, and down with the COVID thing, student come to class sniffling, sick, apparently sick. Hold
Like
on. Let me go over here and talk to this chairperson real quick. Hold on. What are we supposed to do about this? Because I
like
don't know if
when
I
I
feel
was
comfortable with
coughing,
this.
when I was coughing on Saturday, you was like that cough sound kind of flimmy.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
You was
wait,
like that sound like
pause
a
class. I'll be
flimmy
right
cough. I'm like,
back.
I don't got no COVID, but it's the point. Like you
Yeah.
gotta check stuff.
I gotta
Like
my
you
my
have
due diligence
to.
is to protect my students.
You
You
have
understand? I'm
to.
responsible for these souls that sit in my classroom. You know what I'm saying? So at what point we gotta start holding each other accountable, even when we try to bypass, like, oh, that's just Billy being Billy, or that's just
It's not.
Raheem
Billy
being
Billy
Raheem.
needs to go.
Yeah.
Like it's no
Exactly.
that's why I said I God forbid I ever get that call because I'm gonna be like, guess what, bruh?
Mhm.
Two options. You either gonna go to jail, meaning I'm gonna call the police and have them
Mhm.
come get you, or the school's gonna call the police, or you're gonna go to the hospital. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are your options. We have
Yep.
we have good insurance, so you can go to Shepherd Pratt. You can go to one of the hospitals. I can even get you somewhere out of state, but you're gonna go somewhere today. Like you just not coming home.
And we've
So
given you guys some
right,
recommendations on some
I'm giving
mental,
you options.
yep, health facilities that you guys can even visit
Yeah,
for yourself. Because even as parents, you need some daggone help so you can help these
yeah,
children. And we got to be mindful of what's taking place in our households. We be so comfortable within our households to do certain things around our children, and they really are affected by these things. You don't realize how much until later. But yeah, get the counseling, like you said, identify the stressors, prescribe psychiatric medication if you have to. You understand, sometimes medication is called for to help alleviate these things.
yeah,
But yeah, just like mental health is in adults, it just is in teens, is in small children, even down to when you thinking, like you said, 5 years old, you were dealing with um disorders such as anxiety and things like that.
yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
right. Like it's not. None of this is worth your future.
No,
So at the end of the day, I mean,
let's
his
heal.
ass needs to rot in jail when his parents do too, and that's on that. Like it is what it is. Like that's on that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
just as parents, just be more mindful of your kids. Like even with Nick, when he come home and be like, "Mommy, so and so said da 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 to me." Who said that? Mommy, they said it. What did you say back? Oh, mommy, I didn't say anything. Why? Because she was just playing. How do you know? Because mommy, that's my friend, and we was playing. You don't know if she was playing mommy, my friend. Like,
So
but he
look, as adults, yeah, so it can get like that. People could say some slick, and you like, oh no, that's my friend,
yeah.
but no, it's some shade thrown up
Yeah,
in
like where
there.
did you get that from? And because I know him, he'll be like, "Mommy," because we was playing the game. I'll be like, "Oh," but I have to stay on top of that to make
Hmm.
sure. Yes, it does pop if you have a child that you allow to stay in the school, or you give them the tools to go and do this. You need to go to jail. Like you need to use some kind of discernment. Like use
Hmm.
the discernment. If the school calls you and tells you that this is a problem, and you say, "Oh no, they fine, leave them in school," and this
Yeah,
situation happens,
I think
guess
they should
what?
be
If
held
they
accountable to
doing
some
if
degree.
right, yeah,
Hmm.
if your child is doing time, you need to do something too. You don't
Yeah,
need to do the exact same amount, maybe, but you need to do some
yeah,
time
because you
too.
definitely know if your child crazy or not. Like, you
Yeah,
probably, they
like it's
probably
something
got back in
different.
the call like, yo, Billy
Yeah, well,
definitely
he
is
about to
kind of
go do the
crazy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like it's something different if you
Yeah.
just didn't know. Like you just honestly like they told you, well, he said that he was gonna beat him up, but then he was like, never mind, I was joking and he was laughing and then they were friends again. That's
Right.
something different.
Right.
But you looking at pictures and drawings of blood and bullets.
Right.
If your child fights, that's something different. If
I
your
think
child
fighting
fight
to
in
protect
school,
yourself,
if you
yeah.
fight with yeah, and even if
Hmm.
your child is the bully,
Yeah.
something need to happen. But if your child is fighting to defend themselves, no, you don't need to get in trouble for that.
Mm-mm.
Even sometimes if your child is the bully, you got some kids that are bigger than the other ones or that are a little bit stronger and they get above themselves. You know what I mean? And they do that. That's something different than going in and shooting up a school.
Right.
So they need to get put. I think they need to get disciplined
Yeah.
if they need to get suspended or put out or whatever. But just listen. All I'm saying is keep an eye on your kids, monitor your kids, whether they are on the receiving end or they are doing the bullying.
Right.
Pop gets on my nerves. First of all,
What do you
Pop.
say? What is
What's
wrong with
wrong with
looking at?
looking at guns and ammo? Something wrong with them. But your 15-year-old should not have. If your 15-year-old should not have a gun.
Well, it just depends because I thought
I'm
about that
anti
too.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
because
anti that.
like I know my uncle and his boys, they were raised with guns. They got guns. But they from Georgia. You understand? So it just depends on.
I'm anti that. I just
Yeah, they
like
can
them.
they shoot guns is tons of them. You
I
understand?
just
But
feel
that's
like
just
they
how they
don't
were
need
raised.
them.
But they ain't
Yeah.
take those guns and go out there and wanna.
Right. I
You
just like they
understand? But I
don't need
think
them
it's
till they
based
become
off of the
adults.
morality and it's based off of what's instilled in them. You understand? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's like that's what it's based off of. So if you telling your kids like, nah, this, and that, and you setting some type of values within them, no, they're not gonna go out there and go use it for that means. But yeah, I remember growing up and my cousins had guns and they were young. So I don't know about that.
Yeah. I'm
Hmm.
just not. I just think that if I mean, I know that in some states, in some towns, they have them, and their
Hmm.
parents teach them how to properly use them and things like that. True, then that's fine. But when you have a situation where the school is calling you and telling you, yeah, them bullets that you just went out and brought him last week, he making pictures of them with the other
I
students
feel
and
like they
the
bought that boy
pictures.
that gun so he could defend
Yeah,
himself. I don't know why.
that's
It's
what
that
I
feeling
really
in
want
me
to
that
think
feels
that
that
too.
way. I
That
really do. They
and it just
probably told
resulted
him
in
to do
this.
that.
I'm
I don't
over
know.
it.
They may have
He need
told
to
him
ride.
like flash
He
the
needs to
gun, son,
ride.
but don't shoot him. Nah,
He needs
you
to
never know
ride.
what happens in the midst
Yeah.
of.
He needs
Yeah,
to ride. And anybody that thinks that he did this in self-defense or that this was something that he needs mental help for, but he can get mental help while he's serving life in prison. At
how
the end
much
of the
help is
day,
it though? Because once
right,
you
it's
take
none.
people's lives,
Bye.
Lord have yeah. Once
Right.
you take.
What is Pop talking about? Call his father. I hate when Pop come on here sometimes. 'Cause, Pop always got a bunch of questions and a bunch of comments. Call whose father? His father's in jail, Pop. His father and mother's in jail where they
The state
belong.
of Michigan feels like he needs to be incarcerated right now.
The state of Michigan, they need to be in jail, and so do his mother and father. They need to be in jail, and they walk around here with that's nothing. His mother and father walking around here with a private lawyer, and he got a public defender. Like that just shows where their priorities are. The whole family need to be in jail. I'm just so over
Oh,
this.
MG. Hey, y'all, before we ended the show, too, because I wanted to look, I needed to drop one more plug and then I'm done. So, before we wrap up, okay?
It's like so. At the end of the day, just go get help. Go get help. Like, I'm being serious. Like, people, like, they need to
Hmm.
go get help. And
Hmm.
this is serious because I just think about the fact that my child is little and he's in an elementary middle. And one day he's going to be in the middle. He's going to be in middle school and high school and be an adult. And
It causes you to worry. I
I'm
worried
worried
about it
about
all
that
the
kind of
time with
stuff.
my son going to school. Where is he? Can he
Yeah.
protect himself? Can he hold his ground
Like,
if
me and
somebody
Nicholas be
tries
doing
to
drills.
bully him or fight him? And he
Me and
has.
Nicholas be doing drills.
Yeah, he has been in situations where
He be.
somebody did some shit like take his hat. You understand? And
Me and
good
Nicholas
little
be
bullying
doing
stuff.
drills.
So it's like you guys gotta
Yeah.
instill the proper stuff into your child, teach them how to kick some ass. You understand? So if they need to protect themselves and they can, they got the means to do it. But
Yeah.
otherwise, like you said, we still need to sit down with our children and allow, even within the school systems, I feel like they need to have, and I think they may do some schools, it may just depend on the school. I think it may only be Title I schools, but they need to have on site, you understand, mental health specialists.
They do. I believe that they do have
Because
like a school counselor,
dual
school
parenting is
therapist.
definitely a factor.
Yeah, they have it, and I
Hmm.
mean, with me, like my biggest fear is the fact that I'm a single parent. But the good part is that I have a very good support system. I have a really good group of males. I'm gonna go ahead and drop some names real quick that support my son and love my son, and that I know that if something ever, if it ever comes down to it where there is a part of his parenting that I can't handle, which I know it is because I can't teach him how to be a man.
Right.
I can't is his uncle, his godfather, Donnie, his uncle Timmy, his uncle Marvin and Mr. Rome. Shout
Right.
out to Rome Rome cuts his hair and he loves Rome. You know what I mean? But he'll be like, mommy, Mr. Rome said that I had to do this, and Uncle Donnie and Uncle Timmy, Uncle Mama said I had to do this. Like he looks to those male figures for a lot of what he
Support and
needs,
guidance. Yeah.
right? And a lot of the stuff that I may not get as a female. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I respect that. That's where my dual parenting sort of comes in because I don't, it's just me, just me and that. So at the end of the day, just watch your kids and look for the signs and be careful out here because
Yeah.
these fucking people are crazy. I don't fuck with mine. I will burn this fucking city down if you fuck with mine. I will burn this bitch down if you fuck with mine. You know what I mean?
But
But
that father connection. Yeah.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
see, like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
will burn this city down if you fuck with mine. That's on that. So we don't have time for no reading. I wish
Mm-mm.
we did, but next week we're gonna do a reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. You
Mm-hmm.
have anything else you want to say too?
Yeah, so I wanted to tell y'all to go over to the I go live there for Intuitive Wednesdays at
Mm.
on the Housewives of Baltimore
Housewives
at
of
6
Baltimore.
p.m. So tomorrow, y'all check me out there. You do have to join the group. It is a women's empowerment group. You will be vetted. So you ain't gonna be able to just jump in that group. You're gonna have
No.
to answer some questions, okay? All right, but check me out there if you want to get an intuitive reading. We weren't able to do it tonight, but you will get a full hour of empowerment and intuitive guidance, y'all.
And don't forget to send in those questions
Mm-hmm.
for next week. We will be doing the XCY segment. Remember, xcy@gmail.com or 410-999-8937. I'll be forgetting where the camera is. I'll be looking everywhere. But
I'll be
yeah.
looking at two cameras, so if you see me looking this way,
I
it's
be
just
like it's literally here. And I'd be like this. Because you know why? Because I'm looking at you the whole time. Like I'm looking
yeah.
on the screen at you, excuse me. But yeah, but that's it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Next Tuesday, the same. Ooh.
You drinking that liquor.
That was a little rough, sis. But next Tuesday, the same place, same time. We
9
at
p.m.
XCY. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.